Wow, look at this Swiss hotel here in Clark Air Base. And we are on our way to the rice granary of the Philippines, the province of Nueva Ecija. Clark Air Base is huge. It's bigger than the city-state of Singapore, and there are a lot of companies located inside this special economic zone. This company here, I don't know if you can see it over there, that is Texas Instruments, big company. There you go, Texas Instruments, big company here at the former Clark Air Base. That's the entrance. And I believe Ed Lippett was here many years ago. I think it was the biggest air base outside of the continental United States, outside of continental America. Companies who relocate to Clark, to the Freeport zone, get special incentives, tax breaks, import-export incentives, and so on. The infrastructure in this area of the Philippines is actually quite good compared to places such as Mindanao and the Visayas. Of course, there is also an airport inside the Freeport. They upgraded its terminal, and there are different projects in and around the Freeport zone. Of course, there are also a lot of casinos inside the Freeport zone. Lots of hotels and other business establishments. And the air base, or the Freeport zone, is actually interconnected with the North Luzon Expressway, SC-TEX, other expressways, and there is a hospital inside the Freeport zone, the medical city, I believe. There must be other clinics, and export-oriented companies all over the Freeport zone. The airbase was abandoned in 1991. Some of you might remember the eruption of Mount Pinatubo, the volcano. And the US left after the eruption of Mount Pinatubo, 1991. The Senate of the Philippines actually, I believe a few years later, I think it was like in 1992, under the leadership of Ernesto Maceda, the Nacionalista leader, they voted to not renew the base lease agreement. a lot of construction going on around here. This is near the entrance gate to the Clark International Airport. And by the way, the wood panels of the terminal here at Clark are all imported from a wood company from Austria. High quality, good quality. And the terminal of Clark actually looks very similar to the one over in Cebu. And I believe it's the same consortium that has built it. By the way, the 12 senators, Philippine senators who voted not to renew the base lease agreement, later on they would go down in history as the Magnificent 12, because the vote was very tight. It was probably like 12 to 10 or 11. 12 basically saying no, the Philippines won't renew the lease agreement, and the rest saying yes. That was the end of the American presence in Clark. Out there, that's going to Sucubia, kind of like a zoo. There are different parks up there, and we are actually going on the right. Yep, that's going to, as you can see here, SCTEX. That's Subic Clark Tarlac Expressway. They took away my plate once for overspeeding. Can you believe that? On the SCTEX. That bridge over there, yeah, it's raining right now, you probably won't see it. That bridge over there is also quite new. And on this airbase, there are also the so-called Itas, indigenous people of this area who live in this place. Every now and then you see some of them. Here on Luzon Island, all the expressways actually implemented the RFID system. As you can see here, we're going to take the RFID gate to the Subic Clark Tarlac Expressway, and it would automatically deduct a fee through this sticker here. You see that? So let's check how much cash we still have. Here's the sticker. There we go. Let's hope we paid it. Yeah, here we go. See, balance is $6.90, so we are good to go. SCTEX, Subic Clark Tarlac Expressway. Luzon Island has a very good network of expressways, such as this one here. And they are expanding it. They are expanding it all the way to the north and interconnecting it to other central Luzon provinces, such as Nueva Ecija. Later on, I'm going to show you the newly built Central Luzon Expressway link, something like that. It will take you all the way to the province of Nueva Ecija, the rice granary of the Philippines. Here we go. Subic Clark Tarlac Expressway, and of course we are heading up north. That means heading to Tarlac. The car's on the other side there. If you would stay on that lane, driving to the southern part of the expressway, you would end up in Subic Bay. Shout out to Popeye 1. The expressways up here are well maintained. This has been a Japan-Philippines development project financed by the Japanese government. And travel time has been tremendously improved over the years. Can you imagine to travel up to the north, taking all these small roads, inner city roads, through all these different villages and smaller cities in the central zone area? It will really take a lot of time to travel to the north. But since they built this here and expanded this network, it resulted really in a significant improvement for people who are going up north, traveling up north. That over there, by the way, is Mount Arayat. I don't know if you can read it. It says National Government Administrative Center. The Philippine government is actually moving a lot of its government agencies to this part of the country, to Clark, as a backup office first and foremost, but also expanding its government services and other infrastructure to this part of the country, because for the simple reason because it's very, very crowded in the national capital region. And this actually here is the ideal place to do that, because of the infrastructure and because it is not it's not as prone to calamities and you know, like storms, typhoons, as other parts of the country. I call it the New Clark City. In a couple of minutes, we will pass by the Hacienda Luisita. The Hacienda Luisita is, how should I say, the property of a very famous, influential family in the Philippines. There you saw it, Hacienda Luisita. Controversial history surrounding the Hacienda Luisita. It's owned by the very influential Cojuangco clan. Corazon Aquino, former president, and her son Benigno Aquino are members of that family. It's a sugarcane plantation, and I believe it's probably the biggest hacienda in the Philippines. One of its owner, when it still was called, I believe, the Tabacalera Company. One of its owner later on became a Spanish prime minister. Can you imagine? But that was like hundreds of years ago, I believe. It's a huge place. I'm going to show you when we pass by. The Hacienda Luisita. Here we go. The Hacienda was actually owned by the Spanish government during the Spanish colonial time here in the Philippines. And after the Philippine-American War, up until World War II, it supplied 20% of America's sugar imports. Can you believe that? 20% of America's sugar import. Up until the 1940s. For a period of probably 30 to 40 years. All of this year. And there's also a big problem regarding the land redistribution that dates back to the late President Ferdinand Edralin Marcos's time as president. Including the Hacienda Luisita massacre, another tragic chapter in the history of this rather controversial hacienda. We are now in the province of Tarlac, which is the home province of the Cojuangco clan. There you go, Hacienda Luisita exit, MacArthur Highway, 2 kilometers from here. Of course, you guys know Noynoy Aquino, the former president of the Philippines, and his mother Corazon Aquino, also a former president of the Philippines. And the Ninoy Aquino International Airport is actually named after Benigno Aquino, the guy who actually got shot at the airport during the time when Marcos was in power. The father of Bongbong Marcos. And this here, see, is still the Hacienda Luisita. And this is actually only the part that you see from this expressway here. So you go right, you go left. It's a huge area. It's really huge. There we go. So we arrived here at the interchange SCTEX to CLLEX, Central Luzon Expressway Link. I forgot to mention that the plantation, the Hacienda Luisita, actually also grows tobacco. And many years ago, Philippine cigars were produced there. I mean, the tobacco for Philippine cigars came from that plantation as well, besides the sugar cane. Agriculture is the main source of income in this part of the country, especially palay, rice. There's a lot of rice paddies in this part of the country. Here we go, CLLEX, Tarlac City. Of course, we're not going here, we're going here. We're going to take this road, CLLX. And this place actually here, this expressway here is actually only a few years old. It was implemented when President Duterte stepped down a few years ago. No, not. I think it's not a few years ago. It's just like, I think it was Mark Villar, who came to this place to inaugurate it not too long ago. It really cuts down travel time, because usually you would need to go to all these smaller cities, La Paz, Zaragoza, to reach Cabanatuan City. Sometimes you would see really huge mansions out here, really big houses. Those houses are often owned by people, families, land-owning families who have been here for generations and who own a lot of land up here, and they make a lot of money in agriculture. And basically the rest of the people just work for them. In every smaller town, there are like 3, 4, 5, 6 families who basically own the whole place, and the rest of the village just works for them. And they became rich through the rice business, rice mills, bodegas, and basically being landowners. Dozens, hundreds, sometimes thousands of hectares of land. In the next few days and weeks, I'm going to do more live streams again, live from the farm. So expect the whole provincial thing, the provincial background sound of roosters, dogs, and people being slaughtered. And the reason why I'm up here actually is because I found a job at the farm that pays me 150 pesos a day, 3 meals a day. It's hard manual labor, as you can see. But somebody has to do it. At least I got free Wi-Fi. We are still on the CLLEX. Actually, they want to expand this all the way to Aurora province, but that will take probably another 10 years. Construction going on here. Okay. Now I remember the name of the guy who implement during the time of President Duterte. It was a cabinet member, Mark Villar, who implemented this project here in the northern parts of the Philippines when he was the Secretary of Public Works and Highways. I think that's what DSWD or DSW, something like that.